Alright, so as promised, I told you that I would go through how to do some of these today for those of you that have forgotten since Algebra 1. So, in order to graph a line, it has to be written in the form y equals mx plus b. So when you're looking at this, b is your begin or your y-intercept. It's this point on the graph, whatever number that is would go there. So that's your starting point. And then from there, you will move whatever this is. So this is your move or your slope or your rise over run. And I always run to the right. You don't have to as long as you understand which way your slope goes, but it just helps me to make sure that it's always going the right way. So if you're somebody that tends to mess up which direction your slope is facing, this may be a good rule of thumb for you. So when I do this, you're doing a system, so you're doing two of them at once. So we're going to graph this as if it was just y equals negative x minus 1. So we're going to start with just line 1. The beginning point is negative 1 on my y-intercept, and my slope here is negative 1, which is negative 1 over 1. Remember we said rise over run. So I'm going to go down 1, right 1 from my beginning point. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. And then if I want to continue it across my graph, you would do the opposite to continue the straight line. Up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. And it makes a straight line. So if it was y equals mx plus b, you would just draw a straight line between all those points and then you would be done. But instead of being equal to this line, it's everything below it. See, it says y is everything smaller than that. So it can't actually be sitting on the line. It's not equal to. It would be like if I had an open circle. So it gets a dashed line. And it's everything that's under it, everything that's less than that. So from there, I would just shade under. So it's everything all the way up to the line, not actually touching it. Then you're going to graph your second one on the same coordinate plane. So my starting point's at 2, and for this one my slope is negative 4 over 1. So from there I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1, and then the same to the left, so it makes a straight line. This is also dashed because it would be like an open circle. It doesn't have an equal to here. So I'm going to dash this line. And in this case, y is smaller than this line as well, so I'm going to look at my y-intercept and I'm going to shade under it. So the answer to the system, when you graph both of them at the same time, is just the part that's shaded by both. So I would erase this and right here so that the only answer is just what shows up right here, what's shaded by both. So like officially that would look like, let me show you, yeah, this. Okay, so now let's try another example. And if you need to skip around this video, it's just a YouTube link, so you can skip as much as you need to, do what you need to do. You can skip this example if you're good when we go on to the next problem where it's not necessarily written the way I want it, or you can continue to get more practice here. So I'm going to graph the first one. My starting point's at negative 2, and my slope is down 3, right 2, because it's negative. So I'm going to go down 3, right 2, up and to the left, makes a straight line still. And then this one's solid, just like it would be a closed circle, because it can be equal to the stuff that's on the line. I'm going to do my best to draw a straight line, but I'm not very good at it. And then this says y is bigger, so I'm going to shade everything above it. And then I'm going to do this one. My beginning point's at positive 2, and my slope is a positive 1/2, so I'm going to go up and to the right. Up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, and then the same to the left. To continue my straight line. This one's dashed because it doesn't have an or equal to part underneath it. And then y is smaller than, so I'm going to look at my y-intercept and shade below, which would be this section and this section. But I'm only going to bother to shade in this one because this wouldn't be shaded by both, and I'm just going to turn around and erase it anyway. So now, let's talk about what happens when it's not in y equals mx plus b form. So, these don't look like y equals mx plus b, because y is not by itself. So I'm going to have to rewrite both of them before I can graph them. So I'm going to start with the top one down here. And I'm going to rewrite it. I would have to take away 4x, take away 4x, bring down my positive 3y. These aren't like terms, so it would just be negative 4x minus 3. And I would put the negative 4x before the 3 because I want the mx to come before the b. And then I would divide everything by 3. So my equation is y is greater than or equal to negative 4 over 3 x minus 1. You have to make sure you divide everything by 3, not just two of the terms. So my begin point is at negative 1. My slope is down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 3. Or up 1, 2, 3, 4, left 3. And then it's a solid line because of the or equal to here. And y is bigger again, so I'm going to shade above. Now let's do my other line. I have x plus 3y is greater than 6. This is actually 1x. And to move it to the other side, I should take away 1x. I'm left with a positive 3y here. Divide everything by 3. And y is greater than negative 1/3 x plus 2. So my starting point's at 2. My slope is down 1, right 3. And it's a dashed line because it doesn't have a line. It's not or equal to. It doesn't have a line underneath it. And then y is bigger again, so I'm going to shade above my y-intercept, which is this section. It's also this section, but it wasn't red, so it wasn't going to be shaded by both, so I'm not even going to bother. And I'm going to erase that off there. The last one is one more example where we have to rewrite them both because they're not in the right form. So I'm going to start with the top one here. Get y by itself, take away 2x, take away 2x. 3y is greater than negative 2x minus 9. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Y is greater than negative 2/3 x minus 3. So my starting point's at negative 3. My slope is negative 2 over 3. And this is a dashed line because it doesn't have or equal to. And y is bigger, so I'm shading above. So here's my y-intercept. I'm going to this side of the line. 4x minus 3y is greater than negative 9. So I need to take away 4x, take away 4x. Negative 3y is greater than negative 4x minus 9. Divide everything by negative 3. Y. And then positive 4 over 3x plus 3. Now, I'm dividing by a negative, but if you remember, that means I have to flip this sign. So it's actually going the other way now. My starting point's at positive 3. I go down 4, right 3. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, right 3. And this one is going to be a dashed line. Oops, I'm sorry. I don't go down. What am I thinking? I should go up because it's positive. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 3. To fit it on the graph, I would do the opposite. And this is going to be a dashed line because it doesn't have or equal to. And y is smaller this time, so I'm going to shade below, which would be this section and this section. But this would be the part that's shaded by both, so I don't have to shade that part because I would just have to turn around and erase it anyway. So hopefully this helped clarify some of the things that people were having trouble with.